Can a former president of the United States of America be tried criminally for a crime he allegedly committed while in office? Or can the president do whatever he wants in office, no, even criminal acts, knowing he can never be prosecuted? That's a profound issue. So whichever way the appellate court goes in this, and the trial court ruled against President Trump that he does not have immunity after he leaves office. He only has immunity while in office. Whichever way the appellate court goes, it's going to go to the Supreme Court anyway. So Jack Smith's argument is, why do the unnecessary? Let's just get to the bottom of this right now.
Yeah.
The other argument is, look, you're trying to interfere with the election, and why don't you just admit it?
So good point. Good point, Judge. And Jack Smith, in trying to sort of flesh out what his motives are here, let's go down to this D.C. case. So Judge Tanya Chutkan, we know she's not a fan of Donald Trump. Let's say that Trump is convicted in the D.C. federal case. How likely is it that Judge Chutkan there could stay imprisonment pending appeal? So Donald Trump would be, let's say he's convicted, thrown in prison theoretically before November 5th, 2024, Election Day.
The likelihood of staying in prison is close to 100%. That is, stopping the imprisonment to process, stopping, not going to prison.
Right.
Donald Trump is hardly a danger to society, no matter what this jury may decide. If he's running for president, the public must have an opportunity to hear him and vote for him or vote against him on the basis of what he says in the campaign. This is the core of our democratic process. It's inconceivable to me that even if he's convicted of everything he's charged with, that there would be a prison term before or during the election campaign.
But it could happen, and it's this D.C. case that is the biggest threat. Would you agree with that?
The D.C. case is the biggest threat because I happen to think the Mar-a-Lago case is a far stronger case. However, there's 1 million pages of documents in the Mar-a-Lago case,
right,
and many of them are top secret, and very few human beings in the government and on Trump's team can look at them. So the Mar-a-Lago case is going to take a long time to prepare. This case is almost ready now, except for this one issue that the Supreme Court, as you just said, will decide on January 5th.
Yeah.
On January 5th, they will decide whether or not to fast track it. If they fast track it, we'll have an answer by early February. If they don't fast track it, they can send it back to the appellate court, or they can say, hey, Jack Smith, get online with our other appeals.
Yeah, and that's why I think everyone thinks that
when we're available.
Judge, everyone thinks that people like Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, if Trump wins in Iowa and New Hampshire and maybe South Carolina, and if he does well on Super Tuesday, we could have a nominee by, the end of February, early March. These candidates could be hanging around because what happens if Trump is convicted and is in prison? Can he get elected from prison? We could see a candidate or a nominee swapped out at the RNC this summer if Trump is suddenly convicted. Joe Biden would probably say no to debating a convicted felon if it did happen. I want to pivot and just bring up the Rudy Giuliani situation. The former mayor of New York City joined Greg Kelly right here on Newsmax Friday night. Take a look.
Trials like this do not happen in a country that's ruled by law. Trials like this happen in a country that's ruled by a regime, which is what the Biden machine is. It's a regime. And this is not the only desecration of justice in this regime. It's one of many.
All right. So, Judge, he was ordered, I think the number is $148 million to 2 poll workers. That's what a federal jury handed down to Giuliani late last week. What do you make of his comments there?
Well, the number, the 148 million, is wildly out of proportion to any harm that was actually visited upon these people. And the overwhelming majority of the harm that they say they received did not come from Rudy. It came from anonymous people who they say reacted from Rudy. And the court told the jury that Rudy, this is inconceivable, Rob, and this is where he has a great chance on appeal.
Right.
That Rudy is somehow responsible for what the people who heard him decided to say to these poll workers. That's wrong, and that's not the law. There's no way that Rudy Giuliani is responsible or can be held accountable or can be made to pay for what other unnamed members of the public said to these ladies.
All right, Judge, we'll keep an eye on that. Great having you on this.